and those are the instruments that have been handed.
Instrument that has been handed over is, and the significance that it plays in the handover of the park. This is a symbolic but very, very monumental time for the community. Tupige makofi tafadhali, kwa sababu tunaona ya kwamba jambo linatendeka leo. So far, we have several instruments that have already been handed over, and these include, I'll shortly start explaining, but as we can see, they've been handed over for this ceremony, and it is not just a ceremony, but it is indeed a very monumentous time. We have the Transition Committee report that consolidates the deliberations, resolutions, and recommendations that have culminated in this historic occasion. We also have the deed transfer that has been handed over. This deed executed between the national government and the county government of Kajiado formally vests the management of Amboseli National Park.
Duly installed, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you may kindly take your seats. Your Excellency, with your gracious permission and in furtherance of this solemn and historic occasion, may I now invite the following distinguished persons to the stage to facilitate the ceremonial handover. The Governor of Kajiado County, the Honorable Joseph Olelengu, accompanied by the County Secretary, Dr. Leina Mboke, and the County Executive Committee member for Wildlife, Mr. Jeremiah Olenjaro. These leaders embody the stewardship of the people of Kajiado, in whose trust the heritage of Amboseli is now rightfully returned. Your Excellency, to join them on the right, may I also invite the Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife, who stands as the custodian of our national conservation vision on behalf of the Republic. Your Excellency, let me also invite the Principal Secretary in charge of wildlife to take her position. Your Excellency, sir, today you lead the nation in affirming our shared conviction that the treasures of this land are best protected when the people themselves stand at the heart of their stewardship. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite all to rise as we warmly welcome His Excellency the President as he takes his place at the arena to preside over this historic moment. May we all kindly take our seats May I now invite the Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife to transmit the state instruments of guardianship and management of this, our heritage, on behalf of the national government to Your Excellency for conveyance to the Governor on behalf of the great people of Kajiado County. Welcome, Waziri.
The first instrument is Amboseli National Park map. Your Excellency, this is the first instrument of handover. It delineates the official boundaries and contours of Amboseli National Park, defining the spatial identity of this treasured heritage. Makofi kwake tafadhali. That's the Amboseli National Park map. Officially handed over. The next is the Amboseli Ecosystem Management Plan. The Amboseli Ecosystem Management Plan. This instrument embodies the collective vision for the sustainable conservation and development of the park's flora and fauna and natural resources within a wider ecosystem. Amboseli Ecosystem Management Plan. The next, Your Excellency, is the Transition Committee report. This report consolidates the deliberations, resolutions, and recommendations that have been culminated in this historic occasion, marking the formal transition of management functions. That is the Transition Committee report. The next, Your Excellency, is Deed of Transfer. This deed executes between the national government of Kajiado and formally vests the management of Amboseli National Park in the hands of rightful custodians, the people of Kajiado County, by extension, the people of Kenya. That is the deed of transfer. The next, Your Excellency, is the transition plan. This plan provides the roadmap for phased implementation of the savannah, collectively and timeless emblem of Kenya's natural heritage and splendor. Wapi makofi, watu wa Kajiado na watu wa Kenya. Symbolic insignia, which finally, Your Excellency, the symbolic insignia to be presented are carvings presented some of the most iconic species that define Amboseli majestic wildlife. The elephant, our beloved Jumbo, the lion, our enduring symbol of strength, and giraffe, our graceful, sentimental of the savannah, collectively and timeless emblem of the natural heritage. We also have the lion, which is the king of the jungle.
Finished.
And that is the handover of the 1 million acres. Makofi tafadhali. Thank you, Your Excellency. Over to Head of Public Service.
Your Excellency, may I now invite you to step forward and do the proclamation.
Wana Kajiado hamjambo. Enda subabogi. Meisi sio laitoriani. Transfer of the management functions of Amboseli National Park to the county government of Kajiado from the national government. To whom these presents shall come, greetings Whereas Amboseli National Park, previously known as the Southern Reserve for Maasai, and later the Maasai Amboseli Game Reserve, has undergone a remarkable evolution from Maasai ancestral ownership through a period of colonial control to joint stewardship by the government and the local community. Whereas, as a central pillar of sustainable development, the state bears a duty to promote intergenerational equity in addressing historical heritage and long-standing community land claims. Whereas the imperative of integrating local communities into conservation efforts for the enduring and shared benefits of host communities, as well as the people of Kenya at large, has been the driving force behind efforts to resolve the long-standing question of the management of the Amboseli National Park. Whereas successive national efforts have been undertaken to resolve the long-standing question of the ownership and management of Amboseli National Park, including the presidential action of 2005, whereby the management of the national park was sanctioned to vest in the then old Kajiado County Council, which action, however, did not occasion a conclusive transfer. Whereas, as part of preserving the splendor of our heritage and in furtherance of the national aspiration for shared prosperity and plenty within our borders, the Constitution of Kenya 2010 provides the framework for the transfer of functions between the two levels of government. Whereas the national government, through the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife, jointly with the county government of Kajiado, executed a framework for the transfer of the management of Amboseli National Park as notified by Kenya Gazette Notice number 15320 and 15231 of 24th October 2025. Now, therefore, in exercise of the powers and authority conferred upon the head of state of government, I, William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, do hereby ordain, declare, and direct that the management of Amboseli National Park is hereby vested in the county government of Kajiado. Now henceforth, by dint of this presence and the deed of transfer herein executed, may it be known to all that it is hereby proclaimed that the management of Amboseli National Park stands returned to the host community through the county government of Kajiado. In testimony whereof, I have caused this proclamation to be issued under the hand of the President and the public seal of the Republic of Kenya on this 8th day of November in the year of the Lord 2025. William Ruto, President.
Your Excellency, I have now the honor to invite Your Excellency to set your hand and sign the memento of presidential proclamation. Your Excellency, with the handover now sealing history, permit me, sir, to most graciously request Your Excellency that all our honored guests to kindly take their seats. Take your seats. Let us take our seats. Let us take our seats. The ceremony is still continuing. Let us take our seats. Let us take our seats. Let us take our seats.
Naomba tuketi, hatujamaliza sherehe. Hatujaimaliza bado.
No.
Bado.
Now, I have your attention. The Ma elders now to proceed and consecrate these instruments. And this consecration is a solemn act of symbolizing a new beginning in the management and guardianship of this great national park. Through their blessings, we honor the spirit of the land, the wisdom of its people, and the sacred
Aya,
bonds
may lugar
and
armayan,
heritage.
may lugar mayan. Amay lugar mayan. Yes. Amay lugar armayan. Kriya angkai, meramayan angkai Ruto. Meramayan angkai Yolo Sholang. Meramayan angkai Yolo Kajiado. Meramayan angkai Narok. Meramayan angkai Sambur. Ilai Kibiak. Iljamus. Megu angkai Yeni Gidi. Anda angkai. Endo Rongera. Endo Bull. Endo Oredi. Kita Ruto. Meramayan angkai. Meramayan angkai. Irusi Golo Sholang. Olo Shalangera. Olo Shalelo Lanakop. Meramayan angkai Yala Lahelek. Meramayan angkai. Tobula.
Maria galari kono nang mirahelo konya. Tomonyana birahelo ngana linono. Mira bwangai. Meginja ngai yeri kore. Meginja na bor. Meginja na seba. Kabua. Hobi ko birahelo yo. Hobi kora. Maria galo wa gameru monyana. Ando monyana bagin. Anda seriana. Enjuro.
Nadaro bilora. Na irugo yo. Na igida jashay. Na ramayan angkai Ruto. Tenila bwangolong. Maranyora. Enasha. Maranyora Ranjan. Maranyora Ngijabe. Maranyora Lengange. Maranyora Losho. Maranyora Loro. Maranyora Loibor. Ruto Njuro. Ruto Ngela Loriga. Ngela Tanya. Ngela Loriga. Kira jashay. Maramayan angkai.
Kijana meramayan angkai Lorere. Endobo. Meishanda angkai Enkishon. Bunge ilang wadi ne wei. Madara ronda angkai. Nerere ne boyo. Endo bololo shobogi. Endo munyana.
Tutam.
Ay ndajo tutam.
Tutam amwara le na la roy mu wara le kinyanga sida na gwa gara. Kito bua.
Your Excellency, with the transfer of the management of Amboseli National Park now concluded, we bring to fulfillment a journey that began in 1974 when Gazette Notice number 267 of 1st November 1974 triggered the cry of the Mak people, a cry for recognition, for restitution, and for rightful stewardship of their ancestral heritage. 51 years and 7 days later, that cry has at last been answered by Your Excellency. Permit me, sir, to most graciously now hand over the program back to the Master of Ceremonies to guide us through the next phase of this historic occasion. I thank you, Your Excellency.
Tupige makofi tafadhali kwa sababu ya siku hii ya historia ambayo imefanyika siku ya leo. Na kwa sasa Mheshimiwa Rais, naomba ni mpatie Boni Musambi microphone ili atupeleke kwa kipindi cha burudani, kipindi kifupi cha burudani ili tuweze kusherekea siku ya kihistoria kama ya leo. Boni Musambi, kazi kwako.
Asante. Basi Mheshimiwa Rais, wamaa wako tayari kutuletea burudani, na bila kupoteza wakati tunaanza na Samburu Traditional Dancers wakiwa na wimbo wa shukrani kwako na vile vile wimbo wa umo.